Hi, my name is Trevor Dowd, Applications Engineer with Texas Instruments DLP. This video will walk through the basic pattern mode GUI functions for the high-resolution DLP LightCrafter 6500 and 9000 evaluation modules. The free GUI can be downloaded at ti.com/DLP high resolution. The pattern mode panel allows you to create a pattern sequence. First, you must choose the operating mode by clicking which of the three pattern modes to use. In the pattern mode, the patterns are pre-stored in flash memory and loaded into the internal memory of the DLP C900 by the firmware. In video pattern mode, the images are from the incoming video source. In pattern on the fly mode, the patterns are downloaded into the internal memory of the DLP C900 via the USB or I2C interface. For each mode, be sure to define the pattern sequences before starting the pattern sequence. Now, let's create a pattern sequence in pattern mode using three patterns stored in flash memory. We're going to click on the Add Image button and browse to the location that contains three images. These images should have the native resolution of either the DLP 6500 or the DLP 9000 DMD. All three images can be selected at the same time within the Open File dialog window. However, the images may not appear in the same order that they appear in the dialog window. Another option is to select Add File from List. This option loads the image from a text file that contains the file names of each pattern in the order that you choose. Each pattern in the display can now be selected individually, or a multiple selection can be done. With the mouse pointer, select a pattern, and while holding down the Shift key on the keyboard, select another pattern. All patterns between the first selected and the last one will be selected. An alternate method for selecting all images is to use the Select Image button on the menu bar. Select the first pattern and choose a bit depth of 1. Set the exposure to 100,000 microseconds and a 50,000 microsecond dark period. The dark period is the time from the end of one pattern to the start of the next pattern. Now select red as the color. Select a second pattern and choose a bit depth of 1. Set the exposure to 150,000 microseconds and a 75,000 microsecond dark period. Select green as the color. Select the third pattern and choose a bit depth of 1. Set the exposure to 200,000 microseconds and a 100,000 microsecond dark period, and set blue as the color. The zoom bar can be used to zoom in and out. Click on the Repeat Radio button to continuously repeat the pattern sequence, or if only one time is desired, click the Play Once Radio button. Click on the Update Lookup Table button to download the pattern sequence definition to the DLP C900. If there are any errors in the pattern sequence, the GUI will display an error message. Next, you will need to update the firmware. Navigate to the Firmware tab and browse to find the downloaded version of the LightCrafter PROM. On the right, make sure to check Add Pattern Images and delete the default batch file from the build. Then click the Update Firmware. Now, browse to find the newly created .img file and then upload. Now, we can go back to pre-stored pattern mode and update our lookup table one more time, and then click play. It should repeatedly display the red, green, and blue patterns. To stop the pattern sequence, click on the Stop button. To restart the pattern sequence, click on the Start button. The pattern sequence will start from the beginning whenever the pattern sequence is stopped using the Stop button. Creating a pattern on the fly sequence is very similar to pattern mode. The difference is that the patterns don't need to be stored in flash memory. The patterns are dynamically downloaded to the DLP C900 via the USB or I2C interface. So you don't need to update the firmware, just update the lookup table and press play. In the Pattern Settings section, you can select the output delays of trigger 1 and 2 and the input delay of trigger in. The output delays are from the start of the pattern on the DMD. Trigger in can be delayed to have a later effect from when the external device performed the trigger. All signals can be inverted. The LED controls can also be delayed. These delays are from the start of the pattern on the DMD. To learn more about the batch files, peripherals, and firmware panels, check out the third video. Visit our E2E forum for more questions on operating the TI DLP LightCrafter 6500 or 9000. Thanks for watching.